Well, hello world. I can't believe that this day has arrived.
By the way, I'm Matt. This is Gunner.
I'm not Matt.
We used to look
I'm
like
Gunnar.
hot Swedish chicks, but we're here to talk about a very special guitar.
Okay, we're coming to you from Truetone Music in Santa Monica, one of our favorite guitar hangs in the world. We go guitaring wherever we go, and we actually have a sickness, the same sickness I suspect all of you watching this have. We're always looking for that magic bullet, that magical guitar.
Now here's the thing, we're just rolling through Los Angeles where we were born and raised, and Truetone was kind of a place we did a lot of damage when we used to live here in Los Angeles, but we always make sure that we show up and see. This is our first time at the new store because it used to be at a different location, but we're walking around just kind of like doing the obligatory, okay, what's the coolest thing here? And I walked around a corner and there was probably like the wall of honor because it was the really special stuff. And I saw a guitar that looked awfully familiar to me. And I thought, no, that can't be it. That's just another kind of like gold green Strat. And then I looked at the tag and it said what it said. And then I saw the telltale sign and I said, that's our old guitar.
Now, I'm going to explain this. Up on the wall, this big, gorgeous 57. And
what is it? Is it 57 or 55? I think it's a 55. It's the
no,
second year.
no, you're right.
It's a 55.
It's even more special.
It is.
The 55. Now, I'm verklempt, honestly, not really thinking straight because of the paint job. You can see this from a mile away. There's a story behind every part of this guitar. This used to be our guitar, and how we came to own this particular. It's a great story.
We're old, but we're not this old. It actually belonged to somebody else that was super famous. But this guitar is actually a very famous guitar for a song that was on, which was the #1 song, I believe, in 1961, called Tossin' and Turnin' by Bobby Lewis.
Now, you remember that? I didn't sleep at all last night.
That little twang
This
right there.
is the guitar that did that. This guitar should not be at Truetone, and it should not be available for sale. This should be in the Rock Hall. Okay, this is a part of rock history. Not only is it a stellar guitar on its own, but this thing actually...
it's so resonant. It's unbelievable. But here's the thing. I could tell it was our special guitar, the Bobby Lewis guitar that we bought from Bobby way back about 20 years ago. Because of this, there are 4 little holes in the top here.
Now, Matthew, what are those holes for?
Okay, so this is Bobby Lewis. When we saw this guitar, I gotta go back. This used to be a stopwatch that was bolted on here, a case for a metal stopwatch. Now, the reason why that was there, Bobby Lewis told us, we met him at a concert we were playing. It was called the Doo-Wop Weekend, Doo-Wop All-Star Weekend in Hop Hog, New York. We were representing our dad, Ricky Nelson, even though he wasn't a doo-wop artist. He was a West Coast artist, which was more rockabilly. But the doo-wop thing was big on the East Coast, and every year they would hold this thing from LAR Enterprises, L-A-R, a promoter named Rob Albanese, and he hired a lot of people. Bobby Lewis, we didn't know too much about him. Of course, we knew the song. But we found ourselves backstage waiting to go on, and there was this really cool, sweet old man in the corner, and I went up and I started talking to him, and my brother came up, same thing. We mentioned our dad, and he was just so affable and wonderful. And
Matthew's leaving out that at this point of his life, Bobby was blind. He was 100% blind. And no one was talking to him. Matt struck up a conversation with him. We made friends. It was one of those gigs where everyone was sharing a dressing room. There were about 20 different acts that were performing that weekend. And it was a zoo backstage. It was crazy. And no one was paying attention to Bobby. Conversation was struck up, and he mentioned that he had brought a couple of guitars that he wanted to sell to make rent.
Well, this is what he said. He said, I brought, have you seen my guitars? They're on stage. There were some New York cats were the backing band that night. And I thought immediately, if they were guys from Manhattan, there's nothing cool on that stage because it was long gone. The event had been going on a day already. And he said, yeah, I brought this wonderful Fender Coronado 12 string. It's a beautiful guitar. And I'm thinking, oh, I know what the Coronado is. And he said, and there's this old Stratocaster that I won from Jackie Lewis's guitar player. Jackie Wilson's guitar player in a card game on the bus. He said, that's on stage. I don't think he got that out of his mouth, and Gunnar and I were both sprinting for the stage to see what this thing was, if it was really
and it just looked
legit,
beat up, and it was old case that was falling apart and all that. And there was
there was
a hand scrawled sign on there that Bobby had managed to do, squinting very, very hard, that said, "For sale, see Bobby Lewis," and it was a 1955 Stratocaster. This was Bobby's guitar throughout his career. It was his staple. The paint job, Bobby added himself, he told us. This is Schwinn bicycle paint that Bobby did himself.
It's like Krylon or something.
Krylon, and the gold coming through there, that is from it oxidizing naturally. This was not a green guitar.
See the green right there? It was sunburst, and there's a little bit of sanding here, not too much, but yeah, he said, and I quote, "Gold was pimpy," and he wanted it to look pimpy on stage. And I asked him about this case right here, and he said, "Oh yeah, that was a stopwatch." It was just the bottom part of the case. Now the stopwatch was long gone, but he left it on there. And I said, "Well, what's with the stopwatch thing?" And he said, "Well, back when we were out on the road doing all of those reviews with like Jackie Wilson and all those people," he said they gave us a hard curfew. It was, I think, 15 minutes. And if they went over 1 minute, they got a hefty fine that basically washed the night as far as their fine was concerned. So he screwed a stopwatch onto his guitar to make sure what time it was. He could just look down at it.
So that's how Matt was able to tell this is absolutely the Bobby Lewis Strat by those. Please, whoever buys this guitar, do not fix this.
Don't repaint. And that's what we did. Was Gunnar and I were really talking about this. When we got the guitar, and it's included with this guitar, the original Bakelite pickup covers come with the guitar. These were parts that we sourced as close as we could to the vibe of the original. The original parts come with the guitar, but this was from our friend John Cruz when he was working at the master builder at the custom shop, and this was off of one of the anniversaries. This one's actually original. You can actually see the cracks in the Bakelite and stuff, but these two,
they were melted off the original guitar. There wasn't anything left, so
you can see the bobbins.
So we actually went so far as to buy one of the anniversary guitars that had the original Bakelite on them, just for the pieces to make this a little more right, down to the switch tip, down to the knobs here, everything.
Yeah, one pot wasn't working, but it's included, I believe. It's just replaced, but it's the right thing.
But we wanted to honor the guitar, and we didn't want to bastardize it at all. But we also wanted to make it playable because it's one of the best playing and sounding Strats you will ever find.
Just hit a G chord just so you can see the resonance on it.
Just in the, my body's vibrating.
And it's
with it
super
up against
light. Now I wanted to show you too. It's all here. This is all real stuff, not relic. This is just years and years of coolness on this guitar. This is kind of like, as a collector, what we all want is that mojo. And again, we really had to make that decision of what we should do to make it playable and respect it. Just because of our dad and his career, we realized that all of that stuff, you know, certain guitars have a, you know, they've been in sessions or whatever, but very few have been the feature instrument on the #1 song in 1961. This is the guitar right here.
There's more to the story too I want to share with you. This is a good karma, good vibe guitar all around. Because when we were talking to Bobby, we asked him, "Okay, Mr. Lewis, how much would you like for that guitar?" And he said, "Well, I want 3." And we said, "Well, it's worth a lot more than 3,000." He said, "No, son, I meant 300." All night, you were the only people that came up and talked to me. And we couldn't do it with a good conscience. And Mr. Lewis, the switch tip alone on this guitar is worth much more than that. We can't do that. He said, "Well, boys, what I really want more than anything is I want a seeing eye dog. So if you can help me get a seeing eye dog, that would make me feel great. That's what I really want."
And actually, we knew some people at that foundation, and we actually hooked them up with the dog. And
so basically, it was a guitar for what he was at. We gave him 3,000 for the guitar and a seeing eye dog, and this is what the result is.
Now, this was a long time ago. This is, you know, decades going on, I think 20 years.
Matthew's really old. It's about 20 years ago.
I am. And the cool thing is just to walk in and look on the wall. And I only had this happen to me one time where one of my Fender Precision basses was stolen, a 66. And I recognized it because Gunnar's dog had chewed on the horn of this thing. I saw it on the wall about 10 years after I knew I wasn't going to see it forever. And this is the same kind of moment I just had. And this is the weird thing too. Gunnar and I are just in town, and this guitar just basically kind of wound up finding its way back to us. And we said, "What's going on with it?" And it's time that it gets another home. But as we all know, we're all just custodians for these pieces of history and art like this. This is a guitar that you could play every day. You're not going to hurt it. You're just going to add to its mojo. But the cool thing is we can absolutely vouch for this guitar was the guitar that Bobby Lewis won in a card game from that guitar player.
In 1957, he was on tour with Jimi Hendrix at the time.
Well, Jimmy was very young. He was like a sprout.
And this guitar right here has
like 12.
Yeah, it was on Bobby's shoulder every single night that he played as he was timing his sets and making the #1 song of 1961. It found its way to us with good vibes and everything. And I'm sitting here thinking about why we were stupid enough to let this thing go when we did way back in the day.
It's a little
I
pricier.
think Matthew might have been going through
a
like a divorce or something. It was something that was a heartbreaker. But here we are, all of these years later, just happened to be in LA for the day. We don't work for Truetone. They're our buddies and all that stuff. But we just had to share this with you. Whoever is lucky enough to get this guitar, as far as the provenance is concerned, we are the freaking provenance. You can call us anytime.
Absolutely. We're going to leave our number here. You can call us. We'll tell you the story. We'll run you right through it. And the only bummer is we've for now, we're looking for the sign that we saw that Bobby Lewis scrawled that came with this guitar originally. We'll find it for you. Okay, we're going to try. If it's
But
out
you
there,
even
we'll
have
find it.
this wear back here. This is from the Krylon that Bobby sprayed on here, sticking to the freaking case throughout the years.
That's right. It was in a gig bag for a while, and that's from the gig bag that it was in. Again, we didn't want to take it off. I'm glad somebody left it on. But for all those...
But real Bakelite parts on this guitar, it is infinitely playable now. Everything stays in tune, and I beat the tar out of this thing.
It's got one of those really cool slight V's on the back of the neck, which I love on the early 50s Strats. And again, second-year Stratocaster, we did have to replace the nut because it was gone. And it's just a fantastic
Do
guitar.
yourself a favor, make this a part of your life before Joe Bonamassa hears about it, because it's not going to last.
Actually, we're
if
seeing
he
him in
does.
3 days, so hurry up.
So you got 3 days. Just kidding. Seriously. Anyways,
Everybody keep rocking, and good luck to whoever is the next custodian for this piece of rock and roll history. And if you buy it, call us afterwards.